I mean, they're talking like demoing 400 structures in the village of Owego.
Really?
If you want to think about what that'll do to your tax base.
Yeah.
Where are they gonna find them?
To do what?
To demo,
Go through,
Get rid of it.
get rid of it.
they'd go through all of this. So, because they'd clear, need a right of way.
So,
So their study is pretty, it doesn't cost us anything.
no. Then it's basically the Army Corps of Engineers that's doing it. The DEC's helping them, but it's all under the Army Corps. So even if they said, yes, this is a good idea, then it goes to the Pentagon and they say, where's this place? Just to give you an idea. And the other thing is the town brush.
Oh, God.
The town of Owego sold their pit, so they have no place to take their brush. They called me, asked me if we'd take their brush. I said, if you're gonna chip it, yeah, well, we'll take your brush. Well, yeah, we're gonna chip it. Well, then I found out, we're gonna chip it at the end of the fall. So they were gonna bring all this stuff over to us and leave it here for the end of fall. So I said, no, you're not doing that here. Well, we could do it down by the creek. I said, well, yeah, you probably could do that. And that's when I found out about chipping it at the end of the fall. So I talked to the DEC, and the DEC said, no, that's in the floodway. So you'd have to get a permit from the DEC to do that. I'm not gonna get a permit from the DEC to let somebody else haul whatever they wanna haul in down here. So I don't know, I know the mayor was talking with Don, and I talked to Don, and I talked to Dean Morgan, and I talked to Mark Clark, the highway superintendent, who told, his last thing he told me was, if we bring that brush down there, we're not gonna chip it. And he is the man when it comes to his department. Doesn't matter what the town says.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's elected.
So he's saying if we bring it down there, we're not touching it again. So I'm telling you guys, it's not a good idea to have them bring it to any place in the village of Owego.
They want us to bear the burden.
Everything that I do with the DEC, take creek gravel out, everything I do with the DEC is from an MOU. I don't get any permits. I don't want to get any permits. And if we start getting permits, they're going to do away with the MOU. So it would behoove you not to get a permit.
We love you, Tom, we're not taking any breaks.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
So they either pre-chip it or we don't take it.
right?
yeah. Or they find somewhere else to dump them.
And I told them, I said, you know, you're gonna have to chip it. I said, we chip it where we get it, and then we bring it back here and dump the wood chips, and then we spread them down on the nature trail.
You got a whole town, you got a little bitty village, find a place for your stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's gotta be
asked them why,
somewhere.
I said, why don't you just do it at whoever bought the pit, ask them if they can, if they wanna
Yeah.
break ground. Well, yeah, so do I. But,
There's gotta be somewhere else to dump it.
I mean, we're already doing the used tire thing down here for them, so.
Yeah, we're still just having that here. I mean, we don't have much involvement in it.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do?
It's our guys that collect the tires when they bring them down. But it's always been that way.
was
We've
gonna
always
say.
done that.
Nothing's different than,
No, just
Besides the
just
location.
right. So I don't know what you guys want to do about the town, but
closer to Weitzman's for the scrap metal.
this is true. But
No, it's their
it
problem.
would be my opinion not to deal with it. So you guys make the policy, I don't.
We chip our own, I don't see why we take somebody else's and not chip it.
Yeah, I would say unless they're gonna chip it, then we don't take it.
And they're talking
And they have to
about
chip it as they
residents
bring it.
bringing their stuff down and dumping it. So, not just the town, I mean, not the town employees, but any resident. I've already had people call me, where can we bring it? I was like, I don't know, take it over to the town parking lot. you know?
Right.
I don't know.
So, that's all I got,
Their garage.
I think. I
So that's all
probably
you
forgot
got?
something.
That's everybody. You wanna do the other stuff first before the executive thing? Trustee reports, they're gonna be quick. We got anything good?
Okay, well, on April 27th and May 5th, the cemetery had 2 work days, and they had some attendance, but the weather was not great. Next one is on the 18th. Getting things organized for the spring cleaning at Marvin Park this weekend from 9 to noon. So I'd like to encourage everybody to come and give it a little help. We attended the New York Conference of Mayors this weekend. Got a lot of good ideas. We'll talk about some things later on. That's it.
Okay.
And then we went to the New York Conference of Mayors and Municipal Officials, and there was a lot of very valuable information, a lot of grant pursuits we can go after, and if we can get $1 million grant, it would that money well spent. I believe that we have done and made a lot of connections with a lot of different municipalities who can definitely help us. So I really hope to nurture those relationships. That's all I got.
Okay, Rusty?
I gave you each a piece of paper that has the Chapter 76 alcohol beverage law. On the second page, 76-4 is the exception to the open container alcohol beverage law. You got those? Okay, and at this moment, the exception is that open containers shall be allowed in Marvin Park and David Livingston, which is the community park down by the creek, by permit. I want to propose that we amend that part of the village code charter. And I'm going to, bear with me, and I'm going to read this to you about my proposition. So instead of that small proposition, it will say something along the lines of, instead of the word shall, open containers may be allowed in Marvin Park or David Livingston Memorial Park for groups under 25 persons by permit approved and issued by the Superintendent of Public Works. And in general now, the procedure now is that someone wants to have a little picnic down there, they go to Public Works and get a permit to do that. So that's saying that and putting a limit on how big that can be. Then the next part of this will be open containers may be allowed in Marvin and David Livingston, same thing, for groups of 25 persons or more, or in any other public lands, which is defined in this thing, for all group sizes, by permit, approved by the village board, and issued by the Superintendent of Public Works. And then there would be one more sentence, requirements, conditions, and fees may be established by resolution of the village board. So I'm proposing that so that the village board has the authority to issue a permit for the Strawberry Festival, for next year's Fireman's Convention, for anything that the village board deems appropriate. We'll make conditions for insurance or cleanup or whatever things that we do. There are some conditions now in our permit policy. I'm going to propose that we amend that chapter to do that.
Well, I would recommend that it be rewritten so that we have the exact wording in the petition before we...
Yeah, no, we'd have to,
We'll
we have to have a public hearing and
in the
stuff.
form of a, well, we're going to have to have a public hearing. We'll have it in the form of a village law. It will be written precisely.
I'll second that.
Well, yeah, how do we go about this now?
So, if you would like to schedule a public hearing, I'd recommend that you do it in June sometime, either the first or the second meeting. By the next meeting, we could have a draft of the local law to show to the village board, and you folks can discuss any changes that you might want to have on it. That would be the meeting in May.
May 20th.
May 20th, and then perhaps the first meeting in June, you could be in a position to vote on it. So you don't actually have to do anything tonight if you want to follow that schedule, because at the next meeting, May 20th, when we bring the draft local law, you can schedule the public hearing at that point.
Good.
Jeff, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, does that affect the fair?
I think by the way that it's worded, there would be a question, I guess, about, because the definition of public lands excludes those places where already excludes places where in the use and consumption of alcoholic beverages is authorized pursuant to a license or permit issued under the ABC law. So I don't know if, Rusty, you're thinking of keeping that type of exception in place or that exclusion from the definition of public land, so I don't know.
Jeff, what do we do now for the fair? Do they have to get a permit from us or anything?
No. Well, the way the deed's written, for
Because they own
the
it.
2 weeks of the fair, they basically own it. They don't own it, but they've got it.
Well, so it'd be interesting then to see how that deed language would operate, because if they own it for that period of time, then perhaps it's not public lands. Instead, it's considered private lands and therefore not applicable to this section.
So if it's decided that that deed precludes this, which we've been under that assumption and gone along that line, if it's decided that continues to preclude this, then there won't be one. If it does not preclude this, then they will have to do that.
So then the only other comment I would have, and I think Rusty's proposal makes a lot of sense, I would comment that the board might want to consider, in addition to Rusty's change to the alcoholic beverages law, a separate law, either in some existing section of code or otherwise, maybe a new standalone chapter that deals with kind of, I'll say, mass offense. Or large mass gatherings.
Which is something to also, well, not only for alcohol, for various things about that.
We need,
Because Woodstock 50's coming here.
Right.
Don't start that rumor.
we need something for outdoor events,
Yeah.
for like the bike night and all that
All kinds
other
of
stuff, so that we don't
So-
get into.
So that's something we should consider in the future.
If the board would like me to put a draft of something together to present within the next month or two, and maybe I have conversations with Rusty and another trustee who you'd like me to work with on putting something together, then we can maybe have, so again, some law to propose either maybe end of June, July sometime
For the mass gathering stuff.
for the mass gathering law.
This thing, I would like you to do,
Yeah, I don't think,
before next meeting, I would like us to set a public hearing next meeting. I would like the public hearing to be the first meeting in June, so that this law is in effect for the Strawberry Festival.
yep.
Because it needs to be, because we're always out of, we're out of,
We're operating outside of the law.
we break the law every time we do that, so I'm trying to get this in place before. So is that something that a resolution motion needs to be made to, get made to,
No, I mean, I can put something together. It
Work
sounds
on
like
that,
the board would like that to be presented to them
Can
at
I
the next
work with
meeting.
it? Can I be involved with it? Maybe?
Yeah.
Second.
Well, I mean, I hope you're gonna
Definitely.
send me that, because I don't remember what you said.
Okay.
Email it to me, Rusty.
Paper for this comment.
Pigeon,
So,
carrier pigeon.
you okay with that? Okay, one more thing I want to ask permission for, I don't know how this works. I want to ask permission for if it's the police of chief, it's the police of chief, to be able to ask or petition, whatever, my brain's not working right now, I'm getting tired, the OHPC. I don't know if the village does this, or if our police chief would do this for his department, for a permission to have potentially several metal carports in back of the police station. So we need to, potentially need to ask the OHPC if we need approval to do such a thing. I'm not asking that we authorize it or buy it, now I'm just asking that we get OHPC's permission to do such a thing.
I would just interject that I'm not sure if you would necessarily need OHPC's permission to do something like that, because it's a village, I mean, OHPC is a creature of the village. If you, similar to zoning, if you have good, very good reasons to do something contrary to zoning, you can do it. I would hazard that you could also likely do something similar.
We don't need their permission for something in the district.
I think it's a good idea to ask them if they have any input
Right.
on the issue, but I would hesitate to say that you need their permission.
Say we ask them for their review, just like the county courthouse asks the OHPC for their review, even though they own their own courthouse.
So I'm asking for permission for either us or the police chief as our representative to do that. Is it?
Yeah, just to discuss with them, not even to fill out an application, but
Just
to talk.
discuss that.
Yeah, to get their input and feedback on this.
That idea.
Yeah, the idea and a project.
Is that something we need a resolution for?
I
We
don't,
could maybe add it to their agenda.
Yeah, I think we just need to get it.
I don't know.
Review.
But we just said we don't necessarily want to.
I mean, are you planning on buying this thing already? Is that,
No, but I wouldn't mind, depending on money, depending on what people think.
We gotta get a roof on a building first before the cars.
Well, these things they bring them up from North Carolina, and for $1,000, they put them together, and
I know.
police cars have been sitting out there and crap forever and ever, and it's just something that,
I know.
for not hardly any money, it's a good thing.
Alright, Russ, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't believe that a resolution of the board is needed. There's nothing that's proposed to be purchased yet. It's just an idea. I think you as a trustee could always go to the OHPC and say, hey, I'd like your input on this idea that I've got.
Okay. Good enough, I'm done, that's too much.
Okay. Laura?
I went to the conference of mayors thing too, and I made really good use of the village's money on food budget and the rest of the conference.
Yes, you did.
That's good.
Anything else?
No.
Alright, moving on. Next is the mayor's report. This is from 4:15 until now, we know a meeting. So I posted the video. There's a STEAM Town meeting. There's more to come on that. There's a launch coming up, press conference. This is the idea of turning STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, not just from a school idea, into a more community-based idea, and it's kind of already starting to catch on. You see events at the library, you see stuff like that. But anyway, this is a new idea they have to kind of bring everybody together for a common goal. I attended the fire board meeting, planning board meeting, met with economic development on the grants that we looked at for the police station and fire station. We held a information session on Mega. All that information's up online. I scheduled a radio session, I guess you call it, with WEBO on Mega for May 22nd. I think it's at 8 in the morning, so we'll go on there and talk about the changes to the electric bill based on Mega. And that'll be about a week after everybody gets the letter that says what they have to do, so that'll be good. We had a land bank meeting. Bids were awarded for demolition of 3 properties within the village, the same 3 they've been talking about. We had a ribbon cutting at the Parkview. I met with representatives from the governor's office. I met with VCI. I went to NICOM with all these guys. And I started working on the new budget. Not the budget, but we're getting it ready, so we're gonna have a budget meeting Monday.
Okay, thank you.
All I got.
Question, Mr. Mayor, do you have a time frame when these buildings will be taken down? I know the bids were awarded, but it was kind of a frame.
It's supposed to be the spring, which is moving along, but probably spring, summerish.
Is that Temple Street?
That's,
Yeah, there's Chestnut, Temple, and
Chestnut, Temple.
maybe, there's 3 of them in the village. All 3 really need to come down.
The Chestnut one is stored.
Yeah.
It'll be the one on Liberty.
Yeah.
Liberty, that's
Yeah.
it.
This is thing's old greenhouse there in the red bed.
Yes. So, it's moving along, which is good. And being the land bank is doing them, they don't have the restrictions on them that they do when they do FEMA. So the lots, when they're done, will be leveled, grass planted, that kind of thing, and then sold off either for development, but most of them are too small with the new setbacks and whatnot. They could be sold off to the neighbors to build a garage on, or just extra yard or whatever they want, So anyway, last thing is public comment. Robin?
Where are we at with the billing? You told me that,
Oh,
you know, it'd be nice to know what we're gonna have.
yes, we're moving forward, I mean, it's moving.
Yeah, the MedX contract, the insurance agent for the village had some requirements for their insurance policies. The insurance agent is now satisfied with them. They have one last bit of insurance to actually procure. I mean, they're gonna get it.
Yes,
It's
it's
relating to the, I think, data breach, electronic
Yes.
data breach policy. And so once they get that and show proof of that certificate of insurance, then the contract can get signed and then that can get going.
David,
What's the timeframe?
Hopefully really soon. The issue is that apparently MedX did not have this particular type of insurance policy and they have to go get it.
Which they agree it's a good idea. Right, you're dealing with people's medical records transmitted via the internet, so.
and we need to set up a meeting with them as well.
Yes, that'll all kick off.
I mean, I've dealt with them because I work with medics in Maine, but a lot of people don't, so.
Yeah, that'll all kick off soon here.
Nate, did you have something else you wanted to add to the executive session?
Right, so given the discussion, I would ask that the board consider an executive session to discuss the financial credit history of a particular corporation providing services to the village.
So moved. Do we add that, or do we have to move that?
Yeah, you would need to move
I
and
move
vote on
we
that.
add that to the executive session.
I'll second that.
You gonna vote, Fran?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, we'll take a quick executive session and then we... No, midnight, I didn't eat dinner yet.
Here it comes.